Hello. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to prepare for the crypto market and stock market winter seasons. Now, from North America, the winter seasons usually mean a slowdown in trading, which means less volume moving through the market. Preparation for that is important because it will have an impact on your trading, especially if you have aggressive, long-standing processes or recipes that you use. For many people, winter also means less time behind the computer, as other activities take priority, whether it be shoveling snow, school, work, or other responsibilities. So, moving your trading into a winter season setup is important, as you simply don't have the time to dedicate and police it as you would during the summer or less busier times. I've often said there is no such thing as a set it and forget it process, and that is true. But you can develop recipes that require minimal maintenance. For example, the one that you are looking at here has a maximum $600 budget per coin, and you only need to check it once a week. It's very low key and very, very slow going. But the advantage to this particular recipe is where it doesn't do well on one single coin, it actually can be used for multiple coins at once and collect an aggregated profit. Now, this particular recipe really doesn't do justice for the analyzer, simply because there isn't that much for it to analyze. I prefer the 1 minute time frame because I like low positions, but this recipe very easily works with a $10 position, a $100 position, or even a $100 position comfortably. So whatever your risk assessment is, it is able to fit comfortably into just about any budget. For example, let's go to the 1 hour chart. And as you can see, only 4 buys and still not enough data to actually evaluate it. So for 208 days, it only made 4 purchases. Not very good risk ratio for a $11 budget. But if you have a small budget, then a smaller time frame is perfect. This time frame would be, for example, a $100 budget, because right here it tells you you've only got at most $400 of saturation to date. Very quiet, very minimal. Now let's go find a coin with a little bit more volume and activity. Let's go to Bitcoin on a 1 hour chart. As you can see, 208 days, only 3 trades at one time maximum so far. Of course, you're looking at the stats here. $41 total. Not a big winner even for Bitcoin. But this chart has a dirty little secret. For example, right here, it purchased, but it went all the way up here and it's waiting for a sell signal. You could manually take this sell if you are in this position, or you can wait for it to generate a proper sell signal. That is up to you. But as you can see, it is a very patient process. And it is very cautious on exactly when it gets into the market. For example, look at the profit on this sell marker. If you had this kind of a trade, this particular recipe would have brought home roughly a $4,000 profit, depending upon your position size. So while it is slow, it has an incredible way of scalping out and avoiding all of the market disasters. The entire Black Thursday mess completely avoided. It didn't even get near it. In fact, this process is so fine-tuned and defensive. It stayed out of the entire pump altogether. And when things started looking bad, it got out. So back in September of 2019, it exited the BTC position. So if you have minimum position sizes, you could easily trade 10 or 20 coins with this process on a very small amount of budget. I'm going to say roughly $1,200 comfortably. While coins can, of course, make drastic changes, as you can see from this particular recipe, the amount that it actually incurs during market drops is incredibly small. So even if it does accumulate $100 per coin, with a $1,200 budget, you have comfortably 10 coins plus a little extra just in case. So it is one of those processes that, while it is not set it and forget it, you could set it up, go on vacation, and not worry that something disastrous is going to happen. It is relatively comfortable in the market. It does a reasonably good job, even at the higher time frames that usually incur high amounts of purchases. As you can see, even with an aggressive time frame of 3.5 days, only 3 purchases maximum. And even then, it's getting close to the average, which means it won't be long for a sell-off with a profit. So as you progress through your winter season, be sure you think about the amount of time you have to dedicate and trade. And in some cases, a winter season trading strategy can often be the best course year-round, depending upon your lifestyle, circumstances, and financial situation. Coins like this represent an incredibly good opportunity with very minimal risk. And this kind of a trading approach gives you the best of both worlds, reasonably safe and comfortably profitable. Whether you choose the 1 minute or the 5 minute, you're not going to make very much per trade. But the ideal behind this recipe is not to depend on a single asset to make your profits on, but rather to use an aggregated number of assets with minimal exposure and cost to each one. For example, let's go to finance and let's pick a rather weak coin, comparatively speaking, in market volume. People like to trade it, and it can be quite difficult to trade in regular markets. But with a winter season trading recipe, as you can see, you can comfortably trade this coin and not worry about it running away with your budget. The same can be said for a lot of different coins. There is a process that you can use to really capitalize on good profit coins, but have very difficult markets, and not worry about exposure, risk, and price margins being 13, 20, 30% below average. This particular recipe doesn't worry about that. Even at 13% below average, there are only 2 positions at risk. Compared to your total portfolio, such an extremely volatile coin has next to no or extremely minimal risk. And that is something that you can look forward to with this kind of a winter season trading methodology. Overall, mitigating your risk as much as possible. For example, ZRX or 0x is a good coin, but it has a horribly difficult history of trading. It is an extremely difficult coin, and even with its extreme difficulties and unstable volume, with this recipe, it is extremely stable and completely resilient to a lot of really bad market conditions. Let's go back to Black Thursday and take a look at this coin and see, while everybody else was panicking, if you had this particular strategy, you simply didn't worry about it. In fact, you even had the option, right when it all began, to take a very reasonable sell-off when the price was above. So there are ways that this can highlight from manual sell-offs as well, if you aren't necessarily too happy with the direction the market is going. So it works for manual sell-off. It works for manual purchases if you want to get into it a little deeper, or it just works all by itself if you really want to bring home an incredible profit. Look at the profit this brought home. Quiet, simple, simplistic. And it survived incredibly well through a very bad market condition. So while you may use aggressive trading methods, don't neglect or forget about the winter season trading methods. They are very important, and they can quietly generate a lot of profit. These little tricks like this, simple recipes, can be a real generous process that you simply don't need to worry about, along with the rigors of daily life. I will post a link to this in the Jackrabbit trading area, probably the settings area of the support server. And I'll try to remember to post a link to it in the description as well. I've already got it marked for sharing, so you should be able to just copy this, Take a good look at it because it is a very unique recipe. It's the perfect way to mitigate risk in an unpredictable market. It uses a MACD, it uses a sine-weighted moving average, and it uses an inverted double band momentum. Let's zoom this in so you can really see it. So here is the double band high-low momentum. Here is the sine-weighted moving average. Now on the double band momentum, this is inverted, meaning it buys when the price is up here and it sells when the price is down here. So it's inverted opposite to what you're used to, but the overall process works incredibly well. So here you have a buy point. Very well done, very consistent. So as you progress, okay, let's take a look at this sell point. There we go. Here's the sell point. It's not intuitive at first, but this is a very unique trend following method that has a very reliable history of accuracy in any market condition. For example, this just by itself, bought down here, sold up here at an incredible profit ratio. Very simple. While not perfect by itself, when you couple it in this kind of a situation, it provides remarkably good results. So from the standpoint and the process of this, take a look at it, check it out, think about this kind of a process for your winter season trading. Until next time.